Hi, my name's Luke Schultz, Director of Small Business Programs for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. Welcome to Lifecycle Industry Days. Now, I'm going to give you a presentation on the Office of Small Business, what we do, what our office does, the AFL-CMC influence and economic impact, how to do business with AFL-CMC, pointers for small businesses, and then provide you some useful data that we obtained from AFMC Small Business, so when you're searching for opportunities. Then I'll have a listing of opportunities that I'll talk about, and then how to contact our office and reach out to us. So this slide right here, we're just going to talk about Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. We're located, headquartered at Air Force Lifecycle Management Center at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base near Dayton, Ohio. Now, as far as the small business office, this is where we're headquartered, and we support the AFL-CMC mission, where we help manage Air Force weapon systems from inception to retirement. Now, the list here is the Air Force Lifecycle Management Program Executive Offices for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center listed here. As you can see, I also listed the AFL-CMC website, which I recommend small businesses go to gain information on the various program executive officers, and the directorates as far as what mission they have and just a brief description of what they do. Really, it's key to look over the information out on our website to understand how your business can apply their capability or solution to the Air Force Lifecycle Management Center requirements and needs for the warfighter. Now, the last one I'd like to also mention, we also have non-program executive officers. We call them non-POs. This is like your PZIs. They cover not only operational contracting, which includes construction, IT, and then some strategic projects. So what does our office do, the Office of Small Business for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center? Our really core mission is to support the warfighter. We encourage program offices to seek and consider small business solutions when they're taking into account their acquisition strategies. We counsel contractors. This can be one-on-one. We try to take those contractor capabilities and match them up with Air Force Lifecycle Management Center needs and requirements. We also coordinate on inquiries and requests from industry. We'll have small businesses come talk to us about certain acquisitions. In essence, what we are, we're a liaison between the Air Force Lifecycle Management acquisition program teams, the Small Business Administration, and the Small Business Industrial Base. What we do is we push out and promote effective in-reach and outreach programs. In-reach programs is talking about training for our acquisition teams on what we can provide and help them with when they're considering acquisition strategies. We do quite a bit of training with the teams. And then our outreach programs is counseling contractors one-on-one, and then also we support outreach events such as Lifecycle Industry Day and other industry events. Really, our main key is we advocate for the mission while promoting these small business innovative solutions. Now I'll go ahead and talk about Air Force Lifecycle Management small business influence. So as you can see on this chart, AFL-CMC is 74% of Air Force Material Command's total spend, which is an extremely large amount. Of that, AFMC is 76% of the Department of the Air Force total spend. Now with last fiscal year, 2021, Air Force Lifecycle Management Center had a great small business impact. We had $4.8 billion in small business obligations or spend at the center. So this shows the breakout where 51% of Air Force Material Command's small business spend. As you can see on the circle pie chart, 51% for AFL-CMC. The other small business offices, the other centers, Air Force Nuclear Weapons Center, they're 1%. Air Force Research Labs, 20%. the Air Force Sustainment Center 13%, Test Center 8%, and then Air Force Installation Mission Support Center comes in at 7%. So as you can see, we have a huge economic impact from a small business standpoint, representing 51% of Air Force Materiel Command's small business spend. This shows the last 5 years of Air Force Lifecycle Management small business obligations. As you can see, we've really had a strong small business impact over these years, taken from 2017 all the way up to 2021. We saw phenomenal growth. In 2020, we saw around $3.6 billion in small business spend, and that was eclipsed by our fiscal year 2021 spend of $4.8 billion. As you can see, we have a nice trend up, and we're hoping to have another successful year for fiscal year 2022. Okay, as far as doing business with Air Force Lifecycle Management Center, the key is to obtain a unique entity identifier. We used to call this the DUNS, which is the Data Universal Numbering System. So you can obtain this unique entity identifier by going to sam.gov. It's free of charge for government contracting and grants. Now really, that system for award management, that key, that's your one-stop shop for doing business with the Department of Defense. It's in essence the consolidated system for federal procurement. You can search various opportunities that are out there, and going to this website is no cost to your company. It used to be Beta SAM. Before that, it was Federal Business Opportunities. Now it's sam.gov, and there's a wealth of information on there. As far as doing business with Air Force Lifecycle Management Center, how can I find out about opportunities? You can search for those contracting opportunities on sam.gov. Please remember, you want to not only look for those prime opportunities where you can do the entire effort, but then also look for opportunities that you could subcontract on. And a lot of times, businesses enter the federal workplace as far as providing requirements through subcontracting, and then will potentially do a priming effort after that. So really look at the requirements out there, understand the capabilities of your business, what the Air Force Lifecycle Management Center requirements and needs are, and look over those opportunities and make sure you attend those industry days. Here's some pointers for small businesses. Really, it's key that you respond to requests for information, sources sought, and draft RFPs. Remember, our main key is the rule of two, where if the rule of two is met, the contracting officer may set aside that acquisition for competition restricted only to small businesses. Also, taking this information, it gives us better market research, better market intelligence to make sure that the contracting officer, program managers make informed decisions regarding their acquisition strategy. They can see whether or not the Rule of Two applies and whether or not it's going to be a small business set-aside. They can also see whether or not there'll be subcontracting opportunities exist, and then also with those subcontracting opportunities, what small business goals are reasonable, realistic, and attainable for that prime if it doesn't go as a small business set aside. Remember, you want to provide information to the acquisition program teams. You want to respond to the request for information and sources sought as early on in the acquisition strategy process when they're looking for information, so that you make sure your business is represented with the capabilities that you can provide. Really, the Air Force as a whole and the Air Force Lifecycle Management Center, we're looking for opportunities to set aside acquisitions. We're also looking for opportunities to break out these larger contracts for small businesses. The big key is we want to make sure that small business can compete not only on prime opportunities, but also on get those key subcontracting opportunities and be capable of performing at a fair and reasonable price. So here are some other pointers for small businesses. Like I said before, respond to sources sought synopsises requests for information, and draft RFPs. It's really key that you respond to these early in the process so the acquisition program teams can pull together this vital information as they're coming up with an acquisition strategy. Next, I talked about sam.gov. Make sure the information is accurate and complete. Make sure you go out there and update your information so it's accurate and complete, so when the offices are looking out there as far as your company's capabilities that you represent, that it's accurate. Also, consider those strategic partnerships to strengthen your capabilities. I know I talked about subcontracting opportunities. Really look for those other businesses that are out there that there may be opportunities to be a subcontractor with, to obtain those strategic partnerships and obtain more business with the government. As far as subcontracting opportunities, make sure you perform well. This is definitely a key. Make sure your performance, you do well, you meet the terms and conditions of that contract. The next one, attend those industry days. Thank you for coming to Life Cycle Industry Days. It's really key that you attend these industry days because you're able to meet government requirements owners, you're able to network with other businesses and really strengthen those strategic partnerships and understand the direction Air Force Life Cycle Management Center is going, understanding the requirements and needs that are out there. Next, make sure you consult with your resources that are out there that are available for you. Your Small Business Administration Procurement Center representative, they're a wealth of information and can help you with various small business programs that are out there. Talk to you about those mentor proteges, those joint ventures. Talk about updated guidance and regulations that you may want to look into that will enable you to have more opportunities doing business with Air Force Life Cycle Management Center. The next key is also contact your local Procurement Technical Assistance Center individual. They're a wealth of information. They can provide and help you register on sam.gov, get that unique entity identifier or UEI, and they can talk to you about upcoming opportunities, industry days, outreach events. And I know with our local Procurement Technical Assistance Center rep, the individual is just a wealth of information, very helpful on looking on sam.gov and doing those searches. Next one I talked about already, searching for those opportunities on sam.gov. It's really key to understand how you can search for those opportunities, and later in this presentation I'll give you some information and data that will be useful in these searches. Next, know the rules of federal government contracting. This is really key. Make sure you stay up to date on all the rules, the changes to rules and regulations. There's a lot of great SBA presentations that are out there, and we also provide vital information on different colliders and outreach programs on changes to regulations, Air Force life cycle management requirements. Next, make sure when you submit those requests for quotes or those requests for proposals that you really take the time and make sure they're well prepared. Make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's. Really make sure you take time to understand how you submit that information too. So now these are the data slides I'll go ahead and go through. This first one gives you the NAICS code, which is the North American Industry Classification System. This is the top 15 NAICS by total obligations for Air Force Life Cycle Management Center. I know when you do your capability statement, it's key that you put the NAICS codes that you operate under, and this just shows the top 15 NAICS codes that Air Force Life Cycle Management uses, and this is as of fiscal year 2021. If you need additional information on this, please feel free to reach out to the Small Business Office. This next chart shows the top 15 NAICS codes by obligations for small businesses. You can see the total small business obligations for fiscal year 21, and this just shows you the NAICS codes for small businesses, and the description and categories for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center for fiscal year 2021. And again, if you'd like additional information, please feel free to reach out to the Small Business Office. This is spend by place of performance, or the place by period of performance has the code. As you can see, this is by small business. This is by list of descending by small business. So this shows Virginia and then Ohio coming in at number 2. This gives you vital information to see where majority of our place of performance is for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. And once again, the list is in descending order for small business obligations. This shows other than small business spend. I know with Lifecycle Industry Days, we're going to have a small business opportunities panel with some of the larger other than small businesses, talking about how to do business with their company and how they're transitioning those innovative small business solutions to the platform. This list up here just gives you the top 13 other than small businesses. It's by vendor. If you need additional information on this, please feel free to reach out. We have quite a few of these companies on the Lifecycle Industry Day panel, the Small Business Forum panel. So this data information shows you the Department of Defense activity address code. So this is key. This shows the DODAC location for the fiscal year 21 obligations for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. And this lists it by total fiscal year 21 obligation. This goes through the various Air Force Lifecycle Management locations by bases. You can see where a majority of the money at the location of the spend is. This shows the DODACs for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. In essence, the Department of Defense, the activity address code. This shows the codes for the various Wright-Patterson, like for example, Air Force Lifecycle Management Center locations. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Eglin, Hill, Robbins, Maxwell, Tinker, Hanscom, Joint Base San Antonio down at Lackland, Peterson, and then also Heath, Ohio. So this is key when you're searching for those. If you want to drill down into where that activity is by base, you can drill down in sam.gov by the DODAC code. Now I pulled this. This is opportunities that are out there for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. I'll highlight a few of them. You can see the information up there. Automation, robotics, condition-based maintenance plus, that AI and machine learning or artificial intelligence. There's really a focus on that digital transformation. There's a wealth of information out there if you search on the AFMC digital campaign that they have. Some of the programs that are out there that we've had small business success for is the Try Decide Buy program. This program is a small business set-aside that is looking for those commercial, innovative solutions, technologies that I've been talking about. This program, one of the key successes for this was they delivered the female body armor. Next, PEO Business and Enterprise Systems. They have their contract, the Small Business Enterprise Application Solutions contract, and they have a SMART guide which details out 12 to 18 months those small business opportunities that are coming up, those Air Force Lifecycle Management Center requirements. And Yolanda McCain can help you with this. She's located down at PEO Business Enterprise Systems, which is headquartered down at in Alabama at Maxwell Gunter. Another one is the Eglin-wide Agile Acquisition Contract. We've had a lot of success with this, getting small business. They have a small business pool for this. Anita Jackson is the small business director down at Eglin Air Force Base and did quite a bit on this acquisition strategy. They have had onboarding of small businesses, and it's really a key acquisition contract vehicle. They're the ones you can see that are out there. Another one that I'd like to point out for services, specifically for advisory and assistance services, or specifically the engineering and professional admin support services. Our services are done through ePass, that GSO ACES vehicle. They have task order phasing out on sam.gov that you can search for. It gives you information on task orders that are coming up and the awardees for the various task orders that are out there. As you can see, there's a lot of different opportunities that are out there and focus areas for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center from the list that is here. So for Air Force Lifecycle Management Office of Small Business, how do you reach us? These are direct links. We have our first site, the Wright-Patterson Air Force Small Business Office site for, in essence, the entire center. This has a lot of information. It has a calendar out on it. If you go to this website too, there's a capability database where you can upload your business's capability statement, provide the NAICS that you operate under, and just vital information. What's key on this capability database is you're able to access it. So industry can access it, but then also government acquisition teams can access it to see what capabilities are out there from small businesses, and also look to gather information and helps them with market research. The other website that's out here, the AFRL Small Business Hub website, which I have listed out here, is a great website that has all the various small business offices, the locations, the contact information. What's key on this that we like to tell small businesses and industry is you can access information on Collider events. These are outreach events which Wright Brother Institute puts on, that we have a strategic partnerships with, that provides information on, for example, we had a woman-owned small business event, we had a subcontracting event. Coming up, we're going to have a digital transformation event and other various opportunities that are key. Usually these events utilize the virtual platform, and then we also have, you can also attend in person too. But both these sites are great information on Air Force Lifecycle Management Small Business Office, and the key to researching information about Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. This shows the small business office locations for Air Force Lifecycle Management. As you can see, the headquarters at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, the various small business professionals and the programs that they support. Then also, I'd like to also key in on, I listed the Air Force Sustainment small business offices that are located at Air Force Lifecycle Management locations. These individuals recently, we've had a few retirements. Ronnie Hubbs, he's the Air Force Sustainment Center Small Business Director. He's located at Tinker. Lynn Garrett is up at Hill Air Force Base. And then Tim Robbins is down Tim Edmonds, I'm sorry, is located down at Robbins. We have strategic partnerships with Air Force Sustainment Center and work very closely with the other small business professionals located at the various installations and under Air Force Material Command. So this gives you a great information on the various locations for Air Force Lifecycle Management Center and who to contact. So this is the contact information. My contact information is up there. My telephone number, our small business organization mailbox that you can send requests and inquiries into. This also lists my emails. I have the various telephone numbers and electronic means of getting contacting the other small business directors located at Eglin Air Force Base, at Hanscom Air Force Base, and then at Maxwell Gunter then. So this is the end of my presentation. Please remember, we're here to help. We're a liaison between the Small Business Administration, Air Force Lifecycle Management Center, program acquisition teams, and the small business industrial base. Please remember, we're here to help you. Small business professionals are here to provide you vital information on how to do business with Air Force Lifecycle Management Center, take into account your requests and your inquiries, and help you gain additional business and opportunities with Air Force Lifecycle Management. Thanks again, and thanks for attending Lifecycle Industry Days.